Great, so this week we're going to do a special project, and it's going to be creating a cartoon with a story that you use with 5 idioms from our chapter. And this is a lot of fun to do. It's not as hard as it may seem, but what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating this story and uploading it to our discussion area and sharing it with other students. But it's not due for a couple of weeks, so you can get started on it this week, but you still have some time to get this done. So here it is. We're going to go to the website, www.storybordthat.com, and you get to make a story for free using 6 panels without having to sign up or do a trial of this particular software, okay? So go to www.storybordthat.com and then click on Create a Storyboard. Once you get there, there's a little help menu here that you can go through that will help you create your story. Now, the first thing they're going to do is they can say you can drag a scene into the first cell. They're going to give you 3 cells. You need to use 6 cells, and I'll show you how to add 3 more cells, okay? But you're given 3 right away. So I know that I could take a scene, so you can see that I'm on this tab Scene, and then there's many scenes that you can choose from, and they just go on and on and on. So as you think of your story, you can think of the background that you would like in that particular story, okay? So it's quite extensive. You can even do scenes that have a town or entertainment. So you're inside a restaurant or a bar or a beauty salon or a movie theater, or you can be home indoor or home outdoor or at a school. Okay, so it really just depends on you. You can do transportation. Okay, there's a crosswalk there and different cars, or even a work environment. So if you just take a look at the different things that they have, you can decide what kind of background and backscape that you want, okay? So, and there's even a more button over here. I don't know if you can see that, but if you go here, there's even more, and you can bring it down, okay? And see. So we'll go back to, let's see, what do we want? Let's say we'll start with a castle. And I just drag and drop it, and you see that it will go into my first scene. And if you say next here, this is just your hints when you're first getting started. It says that you can click on the Characters tab, and then you can add a character, okay? So we can go ahead and hide these tips. And now you can add people to your background. It could be adults, as you can see off the side here, adults, or cultural, or you can go back. Well, since I have a castle, I can go medieval. So I can look at people that belong to that period in time, okay? So what's a castle without a knight? So I'm going to drag a knight down here. Okay, and then you can do anything with this character that you want to as far as making his hair, although we can't really see it. We can change his eye color. We could change his armor, the color of his armor. We can change his shoes. Maybe we'll do red. Socks if we want to. And we can edit his pose. We can also rotate him, by the way. We can move him different ways that we want to. Okay, so if we can go left and right, bring him back up. As you can see, it goes that way. And we can also edit his pose. So this is going to be important if you want him to run or sit down, or if I find a horse, something like that, maybe he's surprised by something. So we can change his look. We can change it to a side view. Okay, we can have his arm doing something, pointing at something maybe. If we want him to sit down, we can actually have him do something like that. If he were, let's say, on a horse. But I'm going to have him stand up. And we can change his helmet. That might be more of a surprise there. So as you can see, or we can have him angry. And then once you're done with that, you can update the pose. So let me show you how to do that. Bring this up a little bit. And there's a little update pose. So as you can see, he's standing outside the castle. Well, we can make him smaller if we want to make him smaller or bigger, depending on what you want, okay? Now, to make him talk, we're going to need to go to another frame here that says textables. And you're going to be using textables quite a bit because this is how they speak. And your job is to create a story in 6 panels that uses 5 of the idioms from chapter 7. Okay, so I'm going to have him say something. So I'm going to go to textables here. And you can use any kind of bubble. Depends on where you want that bubble. Do you want it directly over his head? And of course we can move it. Oops, move the wrong thing here. I'm going to move the bubble. And you can make the bubble as big or as little as you want to as well. But it really depends on the size of your text because it depends on what you want him to say. So just to get an idea of the types of idioms I want to use, I'm just going to go back to the course for week 13. And I always put the idioms into a chart for you. And let's see. He's standing there looking at something. So he might say from my standpoint or from my point of view. So we can use either one of these, okay? Or maybe he got watch duty again and that drives him up the wall. So I'm going to use this idiom. And then I'm going to go back to my storyboard. And then I'm going to say something like this. Now, once you click on the bubble, you click to edit. And so just type directly into the box, being put outside of the castle to guard this stupid road really drives me up the wall. Okay, and that's the first idiom I'm going to use. And to show that that's my idiom, I'm going to go ahead and whatever my idiom is, I'm going to select it. Drives me up the wall. So we want to color the text here. So it's our text color there and our background color, and I want to make the background color. Drives me up the wall. Okay? So that way, when I read these and your fellow students read these, they can go directly to the idiom to see that it's being used correctly. Okay? And I'm using it in the present tense because that's how he feels. But notice that some of my text is outside my bubble. So I'm going to click on my bubble. And the thing I want to do is I want to make my bubble a little bigger so it includes all my text. And then I'm going to go to my guy and move him closer to my text there. Okay? And so that's my first panel. And then I could have someone else, maybe another guard, show up. Or maybe he's talking to somebody else. So I'm going to go back to characters. And maybe he's talking to the other guard. So I might say, bring a bubble to him. So I'm going to go back to textables. And maybe I'll choose this bubble. So I'm going to put it down here. And I'm going to move my bubble over. And I'm going to say, stop complaining. At least you don't have to shovel the horse droppings like I had to last week. Okay, so just make the story whatever you want it to be. Now, I don't have an idiom here. You don't have to have an idiom in every bubble. I just want to tell you that you need to have 5 by the time your story's finished, okay? So now I'm going to do another scene, and I'll have to think about what scene I want to use again here. And let's see, let's create a different story within here. So I'm going to be in the graveyard now, and maybe we'll have the king or lady come in, and she's in the graveyard. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my idioms and see how I might continue this story. And let's try to find something here. Okay. So maybe it's from my standpoint or as far as. So let's try as far as. Go back to our story and let's move her over. And we'll have her say something. And maybe she'll say, move it this way, okay? We'll drag it down. And she might say, as far as I'm concerned, this is the best place to be when someone wants peace and quiet. And then we can be silly and funny if we want to, and we'll have the dead person talking. So we might say, maybe this guy here, maybe it's the guy in the grave here, and he says, well, from my point of view, can't get more quiet than when you die. Now notice again, the text doesn't fit, so of course we've got to make it bigger so our text fits in here. Okay, so I use 2 more idioms here. So what we want to do is, again, highlight the idiom. And again, I'm being silly. I'm just making the story up just as I go along. So I'm sure your stories are going to be much better than mine is. So as far as is one of them, and then from my point of view, and we'll do that. Okay. So again, I'm highlighting all of those. So maybe I go back and I want to go into where the throne is. Maybe the king is going to be saying something. So we'll go back to characters. And if you see a king, let me know. And if you can't find something, you can always go to your search bar and see if anything comes up. A little search tip here. And so we've got some choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in this throne, and I'm going to drag over a crown, and then I'm going to go back to my scenes, and let's see, where would a king sit? Oh. Yeah, we don't even need this chair because there's the king's chair now. Let's stay on the page. To delete something, you just click on it and you do the red X. It's not your delete key, but just click on whatever you want to delete and go to the red delete. Okay, so now I need a kingish looking guy. So let me come back to characters. And he looks pretty kingly, so I'm going to put him. But and then I want to put a crown on him, but I might have got to put that crown really small so it'll fit on his head. And now one thing you can do is you can layer this. So I want this to come over the king. So what I'll do is I'll click So this layers, so I can drop it down to his head. So that was just on layers, and now what I did was move it forward. This is the move forward layer, okay? Now he could either be standing up, but remember, if we click on him, I could get a pose, and I'll come into edit pose, and then I'm going to see if I can get him seated. And I have no idea what that is. Looks like kneeling, great for praying or begging. This will tell you. Great for sitting, so we're going to sit him, okay? So we'll tell you underneath here, once you put your mouse over it, it will tell you what to do. Great for walking or running. Okay, so I'm going to update the pose, and now you can see he's sitting on that chair, okay? And then we can get things he can put in his hands. You can really have a lot of fun with this. Like he could have a scepter. And there's a scepter, so he could actually be holding that, okay? Or whatever it is that you want him to hold. Or if you don't like it, remember, just click on that red X and you're done. Okay. So now I need to think of a conversation for him to have. And maybe he has a court with lots of other people. So I'm going to look at characters and see if we can do multiple people. And I don't see a crowd, so let me look at crowd. If not, I just keep dragging people in there. Well, it's thinking about something, but it might not be the crowd that I need for my particular time, because I'm way back in the medieval times, right? So it might not be the right crowd. Okay, so all you have to do then is really go back to your characters and then just start pulling people in. And we probably want to make them a little bit smaller. Right? Okay, so let me see what else I need to tell you. You guys can go ahead and play around with this. You kind of get the idea now. And then, of course, I'm going to make my king say something. But this is just a how-to video. I'm not really going to give you my full story, because, again, I think your story is going to be better. To get the 3 more cells that you need, what you do is you're going to come here and go add or delete cells. You only get 3 more for free. So what you do is you come over here and you just click, 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 okay? And you update your storyboard. And now I have 3 more. So you have to have a minimum of 6 cells. You have to have 5 idioms. Your story needs to flow. It needs to be one story. It's not 5 separate stories. This one is going to be connected to the king and his kingdom. So I'll make it all make sense, okay? So that is, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to do this. This week 13 is the week that you're going to be thinking about it and you're going to go play around with it. And then week 14, you're going to turn it in. You're going to turn it into a discussion board because you're going to share it with everybody else. And we're going to go make comments. And oh, I do want to show you how to save this, how to make sure that it goes to your email, and how you can save it as a PDF. This is very important because right now it's not saved. Okay. I forgot what advanced was, so let me look at it, what advanced is. Okay, you can play around with this, the cell size. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over here to save. And then if you don't have an account, you need to make one. It's still free, but you can use your Saddleback email address, but just come up with a different password. You don't want to put your Saddleback email password. So once you log into your account, you're going to get this. It says as a free user, you can create 2 storyboards per week. Okay? And this is your first. And then purchase a subscription if you want to do more storyboards, and you get a lot more cartoons and things like that. But you don't need to do that. You are just going to do it for free because I want you to spend your money, of course, unless you really want to do that. So this is going to be, for me, ESL 344, Chapter 7 Idiom, Storyboard. You can name it whatever you want. But what I want you to do is put your name. Okay, so you put your name, don't put my name, but you put your name. So I'll know who it is. You can put a description if you want to. And then you're going to come down here to Save Storyboard. And then it gets you back in here, but now you have a few more things, okay? Now, of course, they're always going to see if you want to buy it, but again, you don't need to do that. You're going to go to My Storyboards, because it saved your storyboard, right? And of course, I only have the one here, so I need to go ahead now and see what I want to do with that. So when I come down here, I can edit it, so I can go back in and start editing it. I can copy it. I can print it, but I can download it. So here's the thing that once you finish, okay, you click download and look at the different ways that you can save this. So what you're going to do, the easiest thing is you are going to save it as a PDF so you can upload it into the discussion board. You can also save it as a picture if you want to, and there's no need to save it as a PowerPoint. But if you really love your storyboard, you might as well, right? And then down here, it was saying that it's saving that. And then let's open it. Again, you can see it was saved as a PDF. I'm going to click OK just so you can see what the PDF looks like. And naturally, I didn't finish my other three. And this is what the PDF is what you're going to upload to me in discussion board week 14. And again, this is only week 13. I wanted to give you time to be creative and to play. I hope you have a great time with this. And if you have any questions at all on what to do, then in week 13, I have created a discussion board. The discussion board is not required in week 13 because I wanted you to go create. There is a discussion board for week 13, but it's just to answer any questions that you're having with any problems. You see that this is not required, but you can come in here and ask me anything about storyboard that you might be having problems with. A classmate can answer you, I can answer you, but if you get confused, you can email me personally, but if you have a question on storyboard, then one of your classmates may also have a question on storyboard. And so if you post it here, then another classmate might say, oh, I had that same question. I'm glad someone asked that question, because now I don't need to ask it because the answer is right here in the storyboard. Okay, so have a great time. This is a lot of fun. My students love this when I did this assignment last semester. All right, see you in week 13. Have a wonderful week.